Hey everyone, this is Roopa Modha for Urban Nation, and I'm here with the legend herself, Miss Gurinder Chadha, who is perhaps one of the most iconic South Asian filmmakers we have today, and she's one of the few who has been able to transcend the ocean and become really iconic in the US as well. Today we're here to discuss the Bend It Like Beckham musical, which is currently running at the Phoenix Theatre in the West End of London. Able to see the musical yesterday. I was seeing the film, so can you take us a little bit on the journey of how we went from the film to the musical?
I wanted to, if I was going to do something with the film, I didn't ever want to do a sequel, but the idea of doing a musical appealed to me, and what I wanted to make sure was, if we were going to do it on the West End stage, was that we completely embraced drama, we completely embraced what the West End stage is all about.
Yeah.
So hopefully what you see here is not necessarily the film put on stage, but a newer version of what it was that people loved about the film, the themes of the film, the emotions of the film, all those carried into the West End, and that story retold with a lot of singing, dancing, and heightened emotion.
I think in a way it felt like we were closer to experiencing Bend It Like Beckham the way you might see it, because the way the theater was framed with that square lighting, it really felt like we were watching it frame by frame too, and kind of seeing the way South Hall and South Asian culture is to you. So do you feel that the theater production is closer to your original vision for Bend It and the way you really wanted to portray those themes to South Asians around the world?
Oh no, I think that the film was the film, and the film was the film I wanted to make, and the film was very much about me growing up in Southall and the choices that I had to make, and so I at that point totally made the film I wanted to make. With the show, obviously I was able to look back in hindsight at what it was that's so popular about the film, and really play on that and work on that and enhance that. Also, the other thing is, since the film I've become a mother, and so thank you. It was a long time ago now. Anyway, my twins are 8 now. But the difference between the film and the show is that the show is also made from the perspective of a mother, which is why there's quite a lot of that stuff in there about mothers and children. Not that there wasn't in the film, but it's just treated differently here. But I think the show is absolutely what I wanted to create and do it in a musical form.
So how many years ago did you decide that we'll make that jump from film to theater, and what about the stage itself, because it was really creative the way the rooms were shown within the house, and you really still felt like you were connecting with the audience and the characters?
Well, we started this process about 5 years ago. We started working on the script, adapting our script to a stage version, and then we started working with Howard Goodall and Charles Hart on the songs, and I started by giving Howard and Charles a big lesson on Punjabi music and started sending them loads of YouTube videos.
Did you teach them to dance too?
And we also did a bit of that. I have watched quite a lot of Bhangra Empire videos with my choreographer, and without YouTube actually it would have been impossible to do all this, but it was great. I mean, one of the songs, for example, you probably won't know this, but one of the songs in the show, I had played Howard one of my favourite Gurdas Maan tracks, which is his duppe, his version of duppe, which he did in the 80s, and I love that so much, and I played to Howard that, and I said it would be fantastic if we could have something that has the essence of this, because this emotionally makes me feel so good, and that has ended up in the show as a brilliant sequence, I think, with the family, but it's Howard's version of duppe, if you like.
You have more of a UK touch to it then.
Yeah, of course, it's a very British story, it's a Southall.
But I think seeing it as someone from the US, I think it was also so relatable, because the way, even with the movie and the way the musical have come about, there's themes that are so relatable to everyone, and I think I saw the symbolism in it as well, like connecting to your parents, modernizing, trying to grow in a new society, because I think the barrier between tradition and being modern has gotten so connected now. It's very difficult to really, you can balance both. So the way you portrayed the movie and the way you got these new characters, do you feel that has grown further with the musical, and the way the audience reacted last night, everyone seemed to love this just as much as the movie. So how is it developing this storyline and writing it into a musical as opposed to when you wrote that original script?
Well, I think things haven't changed that much.
Yeah.
And I think even though this is set here in West London, it's totally relevant for the Asians in the US.
Yeah.
But not only is it relevant, I think, for Asians in the US, it's also relevant for Chinese and, you know, Thai and Greeks and Caribbean. I mean, every community, because every community has a sense of tradition and an older generation that feels that the younger generation don't quite live up to those traditions, and also people who know that they are trying to make things work. You know, it's not like before it would have been that's old is good, young is bad, whereas now it's much more everyone trying to work out what each other is about, you know, and finding those middle grounds. And that's what our show's about, is finding that middle ground.
Yeah, that's true. And even in the audience, we saw a lot more non-Asians in the audience, which I thought was very impressive. And that's a credit to you for being able to connect to so many people, regardless of whether they're South Asian or not. Since you are so iconic in this field now, and you are the one connecting both the South Asians in the UK and India and abroad, do you feel that pressure to maintain that sort of status and continue to reach your story to so many people?
Well, I never sit down and say, okay, with this story I'm only going to talk to Punjabis from Southall. You know, obviously not. When I sit down to tell a story, whether it's theatre or film or whatever, I say, okay, I'm going to tell this story for the whole world. It's for the whole world. And that's always my starting point. I make things for the whole world. There might be elements in it that appeal to different sections of the world, and there are things that references that they might get, you know, compared. But as a woman, there will be things that more women will get, for example, regardless of their backgrounds. As Asians, there'll be things that Asians get. So as there'll be things that only Punjabi speakers will get. So I think it's ultimately, as a director, if you put yourself into what you're doing, it becomes an extension of who you are. But always the starting point for me is always, how can I reach as many people as possible with this story?
So even in terms of the set design, how was it for you doing it for the musical? Because I've heard you're a perfectionist, so was it difficult trying to maintain that in terms of a theatrical production?
Oh yeah, there was a lot of toing and froing on every element, the music, the set design, choreography, everything needed to have that authenticity. And I worked with a terrific team of people, you know, my choreographer, my production designer, the composers, the lyricists, everybody who really embraced that vision and embraced that story and helped me really to tell that story with their, you know, own fantastic skills. So the musical is truly a collaborative effort by everybody whose names you see listed, and everybody has sort of poured their energies and their heart to help tell this story, you know, about us and 50 years of sort of British Asian history.
So, what would you say to all our viewers as being the one reason why they should come see the musical? Because I think many people the film is just so iconic for people that we tend to think that, oh, if I see this, I'll still be thinking of the film. But when you see it, it's almost a new experience, and I think even the characters have kind of added their own elements to it as well. So it's felt different. So what's the reason you would give?
Well, I think that if you love the movie and you've always wanted a sequel, this is the sequel. This is the sequel. Come and see the sequel. Personally, I think this is much better than the movie for me. You know, I think this is a much better version of that story. Not to say that the film is not good, it's just that for me, I think this is a much richer, more emotional and, I don't know, more appealing version of that story.
It was definitely more immersive. I felt like I was part of the movie. So everyone, please come and check out Bend It Like Beckham, the musical. It's currently playing here in the West End of London, and hopefully you'll be coming to the US soon with a production as well for us. I'm here with the legend, Gurinder Chadha.